This is the Dodgers Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Los Angeles Dodgers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, welcome to the Locked On Dodgers Postcast on the Locked On Dodgers YouTube channel. I am Pete Fox, covering sports in LA dating back to 2007 for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio. The All-Star break is officially over unless you're a member of the Dodgers. They evidently didn't pick up on that fact that the All-Star break is over and it is time to start playing baseball.
This is what you'll be talking about.
That was a stinker. That was not what we were looking for. That is not a good way to start the second half of the season. The Brewers have now beaten the Dodgers 4 games in a row. That was anemic, to say the least. 2-0. Dodgers couldn't find any rhythm at all. No momentum, no threats. They finished with 3 hits. 2 runners left on base, 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. 10 Ks. Yuck. I mean, come on. Wake up. BL Boyd. Kim is the only Dodger right now that can hit his hands and arms mid-pitch to get a level swing and decent contact on the ball. Rewatch his hit, then Dip S pulls him. Please fire this clown. Oh, here we go. It's Dave Roberts' fault. Yes, I haven't heard that in a while. Thank you for bringing that up again, BL Boyd. Yeah, what was I thinking? Of course, Dave Roberts is the reason the Dodgers are not hitting right now. Yeah, because if he kept Hae-Sung Kim in there, we win this game by 6, right? Because Hae-Sung Kim can just do it all. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, he can hit home runs, he can steal bases, he can do it all. Yeah. That's the only reason we lost, because Dave Roberts pulled Hae-Sung Kim. Yeah, of course. Yeah, has nothing to do with the fact that Shohei Ohtani was 0 for 4, Mookie Betts was 0 for 4. Freddie 1 for 2. He had a walk and a base hit, which was a nice double down the line there on a 3-0 count. Will Smith had a base hit. Teo 0 for 3. Ice cold. Conforto doing Conforto things 0 for 2. Pajes 0 for 3. But no, it's Dave Roberts' fault because Hae-Sung Kim was pulled from the game. Yeah. Thanks for pointing that out. Appreciate it. The fact of the matter is that the Dodgers are really, really missing the fact that Max Muncy is out. The bottom of the lineup has cooled, and it's too much pressure on the starting pitching. That is what it boils down to. Priester has not struck out the side all season. He did it to the Dodgers twice tonight. Look, this is fairly typical coming out of the All-Star break, especially when you go into the All-Star break not rolling. I mean, I know the Dodgers won 2 of 3 against the Giants, but that was a panacea to a certain extent. It wasn't like they were red hot because they won those last 2 games. They were struggling at the end of the first half. It was the best you could hope for under the circumstances to get those 2 wins and kind of go into the break with a positive thought. But the fact is that the Dodger offense, even in those 2 games against the Giants, was not great. They were lucky to get the middle game of that series. That was the one where Yamamoto was dominant, and then the bullpen gave up that home run. No, that was the Ohtani game. Which one was Ohtani was the middle game where he pitched 3 innings, allowing just 1 hit. Then Sheehan came in, gave up 1 run on 2 hits. Bessie, the bullpen. Yeah, that one was, look, it was a nice win for the Dodgers in that middle game against the Giants, 2-1. The one I'm thinking of is the finale where they should have won 2-0, but then blew it in the 9th. and had to rally because Tanner Scott gave up a 2-run home run. So that was the one where I kind of felt like they were fortunate to win. That was the game where they blooped them to death in extras. So it wasn't like they hit the cover off the ball and were red hot offensively. Yamamoto had 7 Ks and looked really good in that game, just like tonight. As far as starting pitching, I think what we saw from Tyler Glasnow was very good. Had the curveball working, had the fastball working, spotting the fastball to strike people out was going well for him. Started off the first inning with a couple of Ks. It was a curveball and then a 4-seam, and then the rest of his Ks were on 4-seam. He was just dotting the strike zone with 4-seamer. So 6 innings, 1 run on 4 hits, 6 Ks, just 1 walk, everything you could ask for from him.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
The aforementioned Tyler Glasnow deserves that crown tonight because, he deserved it better than a loss in this game. But the fact is the Dodgers offense just wasn't there. Priester, who got the win, is now 8-2. By the way, let's not overlook the fact that this Brewers team over their last 41 are like 26-15 or something. They're red hot right now. So maybe it's 35-15. That's 50 plus 1. So 51. I'm off by 10 games, I believe. They're just rolling right now. So, and this Priester guy has been pitching very well with a record of 8-2. He gave up no runs on 3 hits, struck out 10. Twice he struck out the side for the Dodgers. The offense was just asleep. And it kind of seemed like it kind of seemed like they just weren't ready for the start of the second half yet. Surprisingly, Freddie was the only one that seemed like he was into it. Freddie is very level-headed, very calm, very cool. He doesn't get very up even when things are good. But he seemed like he had a little bit of intensity, whereas I didn't see intensity from anybody else. Definitely not from Teo. Pajes was asleep. Shohei was asleep. Everybody was just kind of like going through the motions. And that's not okay. Somebody needs to crack these guys in the backside. I'm sorry. I don't know who it is, but somebody needs to go, hey, are we going to make a run at repeating? Or are we just going to, sleepwalk way through and try to figure out a way to get into the playoffs and hopefully we can turn it on then? I know they've got some injuries, but it's just what's happening right now. And over the last 10 heading into the break is like, they've lost it. and maybe you could put some of that on Dave Roberts for not cracking the whip, but that's just not his style. And you can't expect him to go out there and be atypical to his style. He's not going to turn into a ball buster. That's just not who he is. So, the fact is that the Dodgers have got to find a way to start getting some wins. This is a good point from BL Boyd, who believes it's Dave Roberts' fault, but he's answering Craig here saying they are incapable of playing small ball and have been for years. That's why they suck in extras since the Ghost Runner came into effect. I can't argue with their record in extras. I don't know it off the top of my head. I apologize. So, BL, if you have it ready, I'd love to hear what their record in extras is to follow up your comment that they suck in extras. I don't know what it is. Maybe I can look it up real quick here. Let me try the voice activation on my Google. What is the Dodgers record in extra innings this season? See how, according to StatMuse, the Dodgers have a record of 3 wins and 1 loss in extras this season. Really? That doesn't seem right at all. So if that's true, then they don't suck at extras, but I feel like they've been in more than 4 extra inning games. So look that up for me, BL, and get back in the chat and tell me if your assertion of them sucking in extras is accurate. Because according to Google, they're 3-1 and StatMuse. Technology is a beautiful thing. Not this season. It's around 400. What is he? Hold on. He says, not this season. It's around 400 since the inception. Oh, okay. Just in general, since they started the new rule. Gotcha. Yeah, but look, your point is fair that they're not good at small ball, and that's a problem, right? They just are a team that wants to hit home runs to get back into games. And it said Shohei Ohtani has stopped stealing bases, which we all knew was going to happen, right? We all said that last year. I don't think anybody argued with that fact that when Shohei started pitching, that's what came out of him not pitching last year was the stolen base record to go with the 50-plus home runs. 54 home runs, 59 stolen bases. Yeah, when he started pitching again, we knew that the stolen bases were going to subside, and they have. He's had like 3 stolen bases since the start of June. So the small ball thing is not what the Dodgers do. Could they? I'm sure they could, but they don't appear to want to, and that's also a problem. So I'm with you on that. 2-0 the final tonight. They've now dropped 4 in a row to the Brewers. Tomorrow, right back at it again. We'll talk about tomorrow's matchup and what the Dodgers need to do to find some energy and momentum. It's the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Dodgers YouTube channel. Don't forget to check out the Locked On Daily Dodgers podcast with new host Travis Rogers Monday through Friday. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Dodgers postcast is brought to you by FanDuel. Summer sports are in full swing. And whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. The Open Championship going on right now in Royal Portrush, which is Northern Ireland, and it looks like a beautiful links course up there in Northern Ireland, right on the water, and just seems very difficult, especially with the weather. We just came back from Ireland. I played golf one day there on a Jack Nicklaus course, which didn't look anything like that, and I had perfect weather, like 85 degrees. I was kind of bummed. I was hoping it would look like Portrush does most of the time, as it did today for a good period of time. But if you had Scotty Scheffler to win this thing, you're sitting pretty, because he shot a 6 or 7 under round today, 10 under par, leading the way. Yeah, 7 under, because he was 3 under going in, but still a long way to go. And with this weather, anything is possible. But he is atop the leaderboard, 1 clear of Matt Fitzpatrick, who's 9 under par. So plenty of time to get in on the action there at the Open Championship in Northern Ireland at Royal Portrush. So if you are a fan of golf or baseball or football, it's going to be here before you know it, and you'll be able to wager on these preseason games. Chargers in action for the Hall of Fame game on the 31st of July. You'll need to get in on the action with FanDuel. And if you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet is a winner. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. Well, the Dodgers fall 2-0 the final tonight, in spite of a solid outing from the losing pitcher, Tyler Glasnow, who went 6, had 6 Ks, mostly with the fastball, but the curveball was working as well. He gave up just 1 run. Kirby Yates gave up the other home run on a home run. The Brewers owe a big tap on the back to Durbin, who accounted for both of the runs with a double in the 5th after a leadoff walk. So, that is hung on Tyler Glasnow. Those leadoff walks will kill you. But then Durbin homered to center, 410 feet to pad their 2-0 lead. And really from there, the Dodgers never had much of a threat at all. In the 7th, Freeman walked to lead off, and then Will Smith hit a weak fly to left, and then Teo grounds into a double play. In the 9th, Edman grounded out to the pitcher. Ohtani flied out, and Mookie flied out. That was over, quick, fast, and in a hurry. In the 6th, Haesung led off with a single up the middle. And then Tommy Edman K'd on 3 pitches. Ohtani, a fielder's choice on a weak ground ball to first base, which should have been a double play. and then Mookie Cade on what was ball 4. Just the at bats were lackluster, anemic. Just didn't seem like they wanted any part of being in this game. It's kind of like, we're good. We'll figure it out. We'll get rolling. And, maybe it's after the Brewers leave town because the Brewers are hot right now and definitely have the Dodgers number this season so far. But as for tomorrow, let's see what we got here on the docket. Dodgers underway at 6:10, a little bit earlier. Peralta gets the start, and he is a handful, 11-4 with a 2.6 ERA. Emmett Sheehan will start for the Dodgers unless they do some opener routine and then bring him in later. But he's scheduled to start. He's 1-0 with a 2.03 ERA, so it could be a nice battle. But, yeah, Peralta is no joke. And the fact is that the Dodgers need to get started early. These type of, when they're in this type of mode, the comeback thing for them is challenging. Fredit says the Dodgers have given up. That's a big statement right there. I don't know if we're there just yet. Greg Valleos says another loss tomorrow with an exclamation point. So yeah, Dodger fans are frustrated to say the least right now. There's not a lot of confidence behind what's going on with this team that is 18 games above 500. Nando, I missed your comedy, Nando. Thank you for dropping this in. Dodger offense at a Coldplay concert. That's brilliant right there, Nando. Way to go. And we'll call it a night with that. Let's see where the Dodgers are in the standings. Padres won, Giants lost. So that's at least something. So that puts the Dodgers 4.5 in front of the Padres and 6 in front of the Gents. So Padres creeping up on them. Got to get some winning going. Got to find some momentum. This is just not acceptable. The dog needs a little bit more fight. I don't know where you find it or how you find it. Trade deadline's right around the corner. Maybe that's where they find some fight in the dog. I don't know. If you had to talk about it, where your speculation would be, it's got to be bullpen. I would say starting rotation is rounding out. Yeah, we've got some banged up offensive dudes, but I don't think they're going to invest in that. I feel like it's bullpen or nothing. And we'll see how that turns out. One final thing. I'll leave you with this because I found this to be extremely bizarre. Oral Hershiser has seriously never heard of the Savannah Bananas. Come on, really? I mean, is that just him being an old guy? Or all I pay attention to is the Dodgers. That's it. Like, really? I mean, I hate the Savannah Bananas. I think that whole thing is freaking ridiculous. I call me a baseball purist or what? I don't know. But I hate that whole entire scenario. You couldn't drag me to a Savannah Bananas game. I mean, it is preposterous and ridiculous. People are like, oh, it's so much fun. No, it's not. It's stupid. Pitchers on stilts is ridiculous. Umpires dancing and everybody dancing in unison around the field is stupid. It's ridiculous. It's not baseball. Foolish. I'm out. No, thank you. But at least I've heard of them. I know what they do. I mean, it's all over social media, and maybe Oral is not on social media at all. I don't know. I just was like, really? Come on. You've never heard of the Savannah Bananas? He's like, is there a documentary? There probably is, but I'm like, okay, old guy. I love documentaries as much as the next guy, but that's not the only way I get information. So I don't know. I'm sure he'll check them out and we'll hear more about the Savannah Bananas. He knew about the King in His Court, right? Which is an old, I was surprised that he knew about that. That is an old school thing where there was, I think it was 4 dudes that played softball, and there was one of the guys was a fast pitch softball pitcher, and he was like a trick artist with the pitching. He could pitch from second base. He could pitch from all over the place. And he was such a good softball pitcher that they could beat with just 4 guys, the pitcher, the catcher, an infielder, and an outfielder. They could beat a regular team of 9 softball players. And so they would travel around kind of like the Savannah Bananas. And that's how it came up, was Joe brought it up. And he goes, that sounds like the modern day Savannah Bananas. And I remember when I was a kid that the whole King and his court thing was a big deal. I never saw it. I never watched it. I had heard of it, but it was, ridiculous, like the Savannah Bananas. So I wasn't really into it. So he heard of that, but he never heard of the Bananas. I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure it'll come back up again. He'll see something and go, yeah, do a little research on the Savannah Bananas, and he'll share with us some statistic about it, more than likely. Dodgers fall tonight 2-0. That's going to do it for us here on the Locked On Dodgers postcast. Instant reaction for you on the Locked On Dodgers YouTube channel. Greg says, go play pickleball. Now that is something I hate more than the Savannah Bananas, believe it or not. Yeah, pickleball. Ugh, give me a break. Ping pong standing on the table. For those of you who can't play tennis, here's a small little paddle and a wiffle ball. Oh, God, pickleball. Don't get me started. All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow right here on the Locked On Dodgers YouTube channel. Again, don't forget to check out Travis Rogers with the Locked On Daily Dodgers podcast Monday through Friday. So back at you Sunday night or early Monday morning. But I'll be here tomorrow after game 2 of this series against the Milwaukee Brewers, the Brew Crew, if you will. 2-0 the final tonight. Dodgers now 58-40 after the loss. We'll talk tomorrow. Take care. Have a good night. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And thanks for your comments.